So as I stated before, when you're looking through these, each one of these is going to represent just one single unit, and then you're going to identify the perimeter. So what we said before is that if we want the perimeter of train 1, stop talking please, we add all the sides together on the outside of the shape. So for train 1, it's going to equal a perimeter of 6. Okay, for train 2, we're only going to be measuring the outside of the shape. So when we add all of these together, train 2 is going to have a perimeter of 10. When we're looking at train 3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 for train 3. Okay, and as you guys noted before, it seems to be increasing each time by what value? 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So train 4 is 18. Each time it's increased, it increases by 4. But now it doesn't help us to know that it's increasing by 4 each time that you increase your train number by 1, because if I ask you for a random train number like 52, you don't want to have to sit here and go, okay, well, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. You don't want to do that. Tima, your email means nothing to me if you can't focus. So what we're going to do here, we're going to draw the 5th train and compute the perimeter of that train as well. So I know a lot of you are like, well, I don't know how to draw a hexagon. That's okay. You just have to kind of semi-draw it. Okay, there's 1 hexagon. There's 2 hexagons. 3 hexagons. 4 and 5. Okay, so knowing that that's my 5th shape, what's the perimeter for train 5? What's it going to be, David? 22, because again, we're just increasing here by 4. So we want to figure out how to figure out the perimeter of any train without actually having to draw it and count. So if you notice, so one thing that Richard was doing, he made a table. He was like, okay, here's my train number, and then here's my perimeter. And at train 1, I had 6. At train 2, I had 10. At train 3, I had 14. At train 4, I had 18. At train 5, we now created, was 22. What are we noticing is happening to each of the train numbers? They're just increasing by what? The train number. By 1. They're just increasing each time by 1. And when I increase my perimeter is constantly increasing by 4. So the pattern that's created here is if you take your train number, Richard was on the right path for a second, if you take your train number and multiply it by the pattern that you're increasing by. So let's say train 1, I multiply it by 4, that's going to give me 4. Train 2, if I multiply it by 4, that's going to give me 8. Train 3, if I multiply it by 4, that's going to give me 12. Train 4, if I multiply it by 4, that's going to give me 16. Train 5, if I multiply it by 4, that's going to give me 20. Each of these values is how far off from the perimeter? 2. So what do you think I should do to each of these values? Add 2 each time. If I add 2 each time, it's going to get me to my perimeter. Meaning, if I take the train, the number of trains, which I don't know what they are, Fatima, your new seat is going to be here at this corner every single day now. Move now. If I take the train number and multiply it by 4 and then add 2, so we'll say the train number is going to equal X. If I take the train, X, and multiply it by 4 and then add 2, that's going to compute to my perimeter. So So I can do this and find the pattern or find the perimeter for any train number. If I have the 10th train, 4 times 10 plus 2 would give me 42 for the perimeter. We'll talk about E later. Pack up.